Chosen ones, the one thing you do that terrifies dark entities. Warning: what you're about to discover will shatter everything you thought you knew about your divine power. If you're here, it's not by accident. Dark entities have been watching you, and there's one thing you do that sends them into absolute terror. Stay with me, because once you understand this, everything changes. There's a reason why certain people seem to attract more spiritual attacks than others. There's a reason why some individuals face relentless obstacles, unexplained resistance, and dark forces that seem determined to break them down. And if you're watching this right now, you already know what I'm talking about. You felt it, the pushback, the resistance, the invisible war that's been waging around you. But here's what they don't want you to know. Dark entities aren't attacking you because you're weak. They're attacking you because you possess something they fear more than anything else in existence. And the moment you fully awaken to this power, their reign over you ends forever. You see, dark entities operate on a very specific frequency. They thrive in environments of fear, doubt, chaos, and separation. They feed on low vibrational energy, like parasites feeding on a host. And for centuries, they've mastered the art of keeping humanity trapped in these lower states of consciousness. But you, chosen one, you do something that disrupts their entire system. What is this one thing that terrifies them so deeply? It's simpler than you think, yet more powerful than any weapon ever created. It's your ability to hold light in the darkest moments. Your refusal to break when everything around you is falling apart. Your capacity to remain connected to source energy even when the entire world is pulling you into chaos. Let me explain something crucial. When you hold your frequency high, when you choose love over fear, gratitude over complaint, faith over doubt, you become a walking disruption to the dark matrix. You literally emit a frequency that dark entities cannot penetrate. Your light becomes a barrier, a force field that repels their influence. And this terrifies them beyond measure. Think about the moments in your life when you faced the deepest darkness. Maybe it was a loss, a betrayal, a moment where everything seemed hopeless. And yet, somehow, you found a way to keep going. You found a spark of hope, a moment of prayer, a single thought of gratitude. In that moment, you did something extraordinary. You alchemized darkness into light. And every dark entity that was feeding off your pain suddenly lost its grip on you. This is why they attack you relentlessly. They know that if you fully realize your power, if you fully step into your role as a chosen one, you become untouchable. You become a beacon of light that not only protects yourself, but awakens others. And mass awakening is their greatest fear. But here's where it gets even deeper. The one thing you do that terrifies dark entities isn't just about holding light. It's about transmutation. You have the ability to take their attacks, their negative energy, their attempts to bring you down, and transform them into fuel for your ascension. Every obstacle they place in your path becomes a stepping stone. Every attack becomes an initiation. Every moment of darkness becomes an opportunity for you to shine brighter. This is alchemy at its highest level. And dark entities know that once you master this, they have no power over you whatsoever. In fact, their attacks become counterproductive. Every time they come at you, you grow stronger. Every time they try to dim your light, you shine brighter. You become the living embodiment of the phoenix rising from the ashes. Now, let me share something that very few people understand. Dark entities are not all-powerful. They operate under strict spiritual laws. They can only influence you to the degree that you allow them access. And access is granted through your consciousness, through your thoughts, through your emotional state, through your beliefs. When you hold your frequency high, when you guard your mental and emotional space, you close the doorways that once allowed them in. If you're resonating with this message right now, do yourself a favor and subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell, because the information I share here is specifically designed for chosen ones who are ready to step into their full power. Don't miss the next transmission. The attacks you've been experiencing, the spiritual warfare, the synchronicities that seem too calculated to be coincidence, they're all signs that you're on the right path. Dark entities don't waste their energy on people who aren't a threat to their agenda. They focus their attention on chosen ones, on light workers, on souls who came here with a mission to disrupt the old paradigm and anchor in the new frequency. And here's what makes you even more dangerous to them. You don't just hold light for yourself. Your presence, your energy, your frequency has a ripple effect. When you walk into a room, the energy shifts. When you speak your truth, others begin to awaken. When you refuse to participate in lower vibrational games, you give others permission to do the same. You are a catalyst for collective transformation. And this is what terrifies dark entities the most. They've spent eons building systems of control, keeping humanity enslaved in fear-based programming. And then you come along, embodying a frequency that dismantles their entire infrastructure simply by existing. You don't have to fight them. You don't have to engage in spiritual warfare in the traditional sense. You simply have to be who you truly are, and that in itself is the greatest threat they've ever faced. But let's talk about the practical side of this. How do you actually do this? How do you hold your light when darkness surrounds you? How do you maintain your frequency when everything around you is designed to pull you down? First, you must understand that your thoughts are not always your own. Dark entities work through thought insertion, through emotional manipulation, through creating scenarios that trigger your deepest wounds. They know your vulnerabilities because they've been studying you for lifetimes. But here's the key. Awareness is power. The moment you recognize that a thought or emotion doesn't feel like yours, the moment you question its origin, you break the spell. Second, you must cultivate practices that keep you anchored in your truth. Meditation, prayer, time in nature, creative expression. These aren't just spiritual hobbies. They're your weapons. They're your shield. They're how you maintain your connection to source energy, to your higher self, to the divine intelligence that flows through you. When you prioritize these practices, you build an energetic fortress that dark entities cannot breach. Third, and this is crucial, you must learn to see challenges as initiations rather than punishments. Every time darkness shows up in your life, it's testing your resolve. It's asking you, how committed are you to your light? Will you break? Will you give up? Will you lower your frequency and play by our rules? And every time you choose differently, every time you rise above the challenge, you pass the initiation. You level up. You become more powerful than you were before. This is the path of the chosen one. It's not easy. Nobody ever said it would be, but it's worth it. Because on the other side of this journey, you become unshakable. You become a force of nature. You become the embodiment of divine power walking in human form. Now, I want to address something important. Some of you watching this might be thinking, why me? Why do I have to face so much darkness? Why can't I just live a normal, peaceful life like everyone else? And the answer is simple. You're not like everyone else. You didn't come here for a normal life. You came here for a mission. You came here to break chains, to shatter illusions, to anchor light in the darkest corners of this reality. Your soul knew what was signing up for before you incarnated. You chose this path. You volunteered for this assignment. And yes, it's challenging. Yes, there are moments when you feel exhausted, when you want to give up, when you question if it's all worth it. But deep down, beneath the human fatigue, your soul knows the truth. This is exactly where you're meant to be. This is exactly what you came here to do. And here's the beautiful paradox. The more you embrace your role as a chosen one, the easier it becomes. Not because the challenges disappear, but because you stop resisting them. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance and start seeing yourself as a spiritual warrior in training. You start to understand that every battle is making you stronger, wiser, more resilient. You start to trust the process, even when it doesn't make logical sense. Dark entities feed on your resistance, on your frustration, on your sense of victimhood. But the moment you shift your perspective, the moment you see yourself as the powerful being you truly are, their food source dries up. They can no longer sustain themselves in your presence. And eventually, they move on to easier targets, to souls who haven't yet awakened to their power. But you're not one of those souls anymore. You've crossed a threshold. You've seen behind the veil. You know too much to go back to sleep. And that's exactly why you're watching this video right now. Your higher self guided you here because you're ready for the next level of your awakening. You're ready to fully embrace the one thing you do that terrifies dark entities. You're ready to own your power. So let's talk about what this looks like in practical terms. In your daily life, you'll notice that maintaining your light becomes easier the more you practice it. You'll develop an internal radar that alerts you when dark energy is near. You'll feel a shift in the atmosphere, a heaviness, a sudden wave of negative thoughts or emotions that seem to come out of nowhere. And instead of getting caught up in it, instead of believing it, you'll simply observe it. You'll recognize it for what it is, an attack, an attempt to lower your frequency, and you'll consciously choose not to engage. This is mastery, chosen one. This is what it means to be a warrior of light. You're not fighting against darkness. You're simply refusing to participate in its game. You're holding a frequency so high, so pure, so aligned with divine truth that darkness cannot coexist in your space. And the more you do this, the more your presence alone becomes a transformative force in the world. Before we go deeper, I need you to do something. Subscribe to this channel right now. This work is too important to miss. The algorithms try to hide content like this, but when you subscribe and engage, you help this message reach other chosen ones who desperately need to hear it. Don't let dark forces win by keeping you isolated. Join this community of awakened souls. Here's something else you need to understand. Your light doesn't just protect you. It illuminates the path for others. There are souls out there right now, struggling in darkness, feeling alone, feeling hopeless, wondering if there's any truth left in this world. And then they encounter you. They feel your energy. They hear your words. They witness your resilience. And something inside them awakens. A spark ignites. Hope returns. This is the ripple effect of your light. Dark entities know this. They know that you're not just a single point of light. You're a catalyst for mass awakening. And if they can't dim your light, if they can't break you, if they can't stop you, then their entire control system begins to crumble. This is why the attacks intensify the closer you get to your full awakening. They're desperate. They're scared. They're throwing everything they have at you because they know time is running out. But here's what they don't realize. Every attack makes you stronger. Every challenge refines you. Every dark night of the soul prepares you for the dawn that's coming. You're being forged in the fires of transformation, and when you emerge, you'll be unstoppable. You'll be the embodiment of everything they feared you would become. This is your destiny. Chosen one. This is what you came here for. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can prevent you from fulfilling your mission as long as you stay true to who you are. As long as you keep choosing light over darkness, love over fear, truth over illusion, you win, not just for yourself, but for all of humanity. The one thing you do that terrifies dark entities is this. You refuse to give up. You refuse to break. You refuse to let them win. And in that refusal, in that unwavering commitment to your light, you become the most powerful force they've ever encountered. You become living proof that darkness cannot extinguish light. You become hope incarnate. You become the change the world has been waiting for. So the next time you feel under attack, the next time darkness surrounds you, remember this message. Remember who you are. Remember what you're capable of. Remember that your light is not just a defense mechanism. It's a weapon. It's a tool of transformation. It's the very thing that will shift this planet into a new frequency of consciousness. You are chosen for a reason. You are here for a purpose. And that purpose is to be the light that darkness cannot overcome. Stand firm in that truth. Own your power. And watch as the entire universe conspires to support you on this journey. The greatest chapter of your life is just beginning, and nothing can stop what's coming. Nothing can stop you,